Sometimes you are thwarted by things beyond your control. When I record videos, I tend to play for about 2 hours at a time, and then I split it up into different videos. And the reason I do that is so that I can keep my train of thought. I find it quite difficult to sort of play for half an hour, edit, upload, etc., and then get back to where I was. I find it easier to play a couple of hours continuously and then to split it up so that I'm keeping a view of where I'm going. Now, I've had a real failure in that I thought I was recording. My recording indicators on OBS all showed that I was recording. Everything looked okay, but when I played the recordings back, I found that I had actually got no sound. The microphone was fine, it was linked up properly in OBS, and after some investigation I found out that the little jack into which you plug the microphone in the back of my computer had actually failed. So I have plugged it into a different part of the computer and it now works fine. However, I have lost some time. So that's the bad side. Now, on the plus side, what I was doing was basically digging out the ruins in Prospect Bay and building with them. So I don't think we have lost anything particularly exciting. I'm going to pick up where I left off. I will be cutting out some of the digging, and if I'm doing something like, putting a floor or a roof in, which is just repetitive planking, I may well cut some of that out. The other thing that it has brought home to me is that I have been looking at all the ruins in Prospect Bay, and some of them go underground, but there is very, very little there. By this time in a game, if I've been through this many ruins, I would normally have found a torch holder or a little bit more, but for me, the overground ruins in the vanilla version, which I am playing, of 1.22, are absolutely disappointing. I find that they've just been nerfed so far. They are good as a resource for building blocks, which is what I'm using them for. But other than that, there's just nothing. I've picked up the odd pot of food and seeds, which is obviously helpful. But the seeds I've picked up have not been anything fantastic like cabbage or anything like that. They've been very straightforward seeds for my area. So it's been a bit of a disappointment. It's something I wanted to do because I desperately wanted to experience for myself what the vanilla ruins were like in 1.22, and I must say they're even below my expectations, but I have got some nice limestone, cobble and ashlar from them, so I'm not too disappointed. I'm going to play, as you know, with the better ruins mod from now on, and it will be a relief to get back to ruins that actually may have some decent loot in them. Added to that, I am finding the aggression of the animals quite difficult. I've got a couple of pigs here. I've turned around so that you can see that I'm actually in the White Tower. Behind me are my beautiful Red River pigs. I'm very disappointed because I only got 2 babies, and they both turned out to be boars. So I'm going to have to kill both of those because they are just too much to handle. So we will be looking at better methods of killing the pigs in my enclosure. Dreadful thing to say, but I do find their aggression very extreme at the moment. Now, I could alter that when I set up a world, but I decided to just play the straight vanilla world. The other thing I haven't been doing is using teleporters, and I've made my life a lot more difficult by not using teleporters. I've been trying to hold back on it, but there's no doubt that sort of, you know, running through wolf-infested jungles and things like this is slowing me down in my progression. I know that there is a lot of copper up by my treasure trader, for example, and running through the jungle to get to it is quite difficult. So I think one of the things I'm going to do is to use more teleporters in future, because it will make my life easier, and I'm all for that. I'm not a hair shirt sort of player. I like a little bit of luxury in my life. To me, there's a lot of excitement in finding good loot in ruins and things like that. So my failure to record has had a really quite a good effect. It's forced me to pause and just think about a couple of things that maybe have slowed me down a lot. The devs did warn us. It was in one of the very first scripts that they wrote for the 1.22 version, when they were describing the difference with the crops and roots and stuff like that. And they did say that we would have to have much, much bigger flax fields to get going. Boy, were they right. So I think that I have really got to grips with the 1.22 update. But now what I need to do is to slightly amend my playing style to make it a lot more fun for me and to progress more quickly. So there we are, my friends. What I'm going to do is to kick off with a video showing you where I've got to in the 4 hours I've lost, and then we'll move onwards from there. Bye bye.